Okay. Hi there, Nasida. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hi, thank you so thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me and welcoming me into the space. I'm really excited about this stuff.
Yeah. I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the space program
Yes.
because a lot of people who will be watching this, they might, they don't even know what the space program is or why it matters. And so maybe to start off with, tell me a little bit about just the overview. What is the space program?
So the space program is space stands for school, parent, and community engage. And our job is to make sure that we're supporting students and parents within within the school districts. And the beautiful thing is we connect with them in a academic level, emotional, and social. So just supporting students and their families, and just understanding the school systems and how we can support their students in these academic journey. One great thing is we have space agents in the schools 4 days a week, so they're able to connect with the students and support them again with their academic, emotional, and social well-being, and just support whatever that may come up, right? Whether it's like, hey, I don't understand this assignment, hey, I'm having this challenge with my peers or school admins, whoever it may be, and also when it comes to the parents, like, I can't really communicate this with my parents, so being that person who is able to relay those messages and also support them when needed, right? And just overall connection.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, and I think we have like, I don't know quite how many schools we're in, but something like 20 schools, and all of our staff are African immigrants themselves, most of them, like the space agents, right?
Yeah.
So what difference does that make for the students?
Yeah. The difference is having someone who understands your background and is culturally aware of like your, your environment, your family, the needs that you might need. So just having that support overall, being able to have a space agent from, maybe the same background, a similar background, just understanding what the student needs. And we see a lot of people who really appreciate that, because growing up for me, I wasn't, fortunate enough to have, someone who is from the same background as me or even similar, and I felt a lack of like connection with my peers and school admins, and being in a space where, again, having a space agent who might be from that background gives the student that ability of connecting and really feeling that support overall.
And it's called Schools, Parents, and Communities Engaged, because the staff in the schools, they're connecting the dots between the students and the parents and the teachers and the school districts. So, tell me a little bit about how that, works, overcoming those barriers to student success.
Again, our goal is to make sure that we break the academic barriers within the school system, and having someone who is from the same background or similar background helps connect with parents, like whether it's like, hey, I need you, there's like a school meeting or whatever it may be, like, hey, there's an event that is focused on supporting parents in the community, kind of understanding like what's happening. We have a couple plans coming up where we're doing a school of code of conduct for parents to understand their students' rights and understand it, just because language is a barrier that we face a lot, and being again that person who relays the message and communicates the needs that are needed within the students' academic journey. So having a space agent is really important for that connection to be made. And we see the excitement that the students have every time having someone who might understand where they're from, and
speaks
also
the language and stuff.
so it really helps connect them with the agent a lot.
So tell me a little bit more about the cultural, academic, other barriers that youth are facing.
Academic wise, we would see a lot of students again saying that they don't like science, right? So science is something that they're fearful of, or math, or it could be any subject, but we do see a lot of students saying like, I don't like science, or whatever it is. So the beautiful thing is we do have a STEM coordinator. So having the STEM coordinator being able to communicate the needs that the students have regarding academics in that particular subject, we try to make that support available for them,
Yeah.
whether you have a tutor come into the school and support them in that way, or have events that are basically in correlation of these
Yeah.
subjects,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. We did have a couple events where the students went fishing, they created boats, or they built boats and stuff like that, and they're just super excited because it's like
Go for nature walks.
nature walks, yeah. So
I
it's
think
like
some of you went snowboarding.
yeah, the snowboarding was awesome,
Yeah.
and being able to use math, like for example the boating event, they're using math and like science in a way, or
Engineering.
it's like engineering.
And stuff,
So it's like connecting those events with their academic needs. It's amazing because you see the excitement that they have and they can connect it like, oh, this is not terrible. It's actually
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what about the kind of the mental health aspect of our work?
Yeah, well, having the mentor, having a space agent there is a mentor's overall, like, culture navigator and a mentor guidance to the student. So having them have someone that they can really connect to emotionally, like mentally and socially, where it's like, hey, I'm going through this and I just need like 5 minutes, and just relaying that message to like teachers, admins, even parents sometimes, or even their peers. I've had situations where my students would be like, hey, I'm not really in the mood of like talking to my peers, and just communicating that, because sometimes you're like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal when someone is communicating with you about their needs and you're not listening to it. That's where we have like, behavioral challenges up here. So we try to break that barrier. We also have a social
social emotional
support. So they're able to connect with the students in a different level, where they're giving them that one-on-one, just in case if like they just want that person to be there to like connect with them. So it's awesome.
And some of the events we've had, like mental health events, like one of them was like I remember being there and doing the I think it was art, the trauma.
Oh my God, yes.
Art stuff, art therapy. Art therapy was
amazing.
Yeah.
We love it, and a lot of students are still using that technique.
It's like giving students really practical tools for like dealing with their emotions and dealing with conflict and that sort of stuff.
That was a really great event. Having those type of events really help us understand like different techniques of like how to support these students, the students in like different ways without like just ignoring it, whatever it is. It's like, hey, like you can use art to kind of express yourself, and journaling and stuff like that. So it's really exciting. Also, again, the beautiful thing about the space program, we have different programs within the space program, which is awesome. So again, the social emotional supports, where it's like focused on mental health, behavioral, and then we have the STEM program where it's focused on science, technology, and engineering and math, and the space agents who are in the school as mentors, which is something that many in the past have not had, and now like having that ability of having that really makes a drastic change in like academic overall academics. Let's just say that.
Totally. I think maybe just to close, maybe you could give us some of your own personal highlights or what you found really meaningful with working with youth.
I think connecting with the youth in a way where you see them changing, like their whole demeanor, where they are connected with a space agent. I know I have students until now who are like reaching out and like wanting to know if we're going to be at their schools, because they're either entering middle school or they're entering high school, and they're like curious whether we have a space agent in the school to like support them. And because of the support that we do, where it's overall support, wrap around basically, they're still interested in attending our program. Our events and our in being enrolled in our program. So it's one of my highlights, and also having big events where they're able to come and feel supported. Again, we have our youth summit, which is awesome because you have a panel of folks come in, and they're from like different parts of different career paths, and again, they're immigrants and refugees, and they're sharing their perspective and how you can get into these type of careers without feeling that you're less than or not, good enough. So our job is to make sure that we're motivating our students, encouraging them, supporting them, empowering them, and continuing to strive to be, that person that will support them no matter what.
A highlight for me that made me think of was one of our staff. She was telling me, working with kids in the after school program, how when kids started with her, they were like ashamed of their name, ashamed of their language,
yes.
like they're super shy.
Yeah.
They didn't even think they could do their subject.
Oh man.
And then after working with the staff, then it was like they were learning their culture.
Yes.
And
100%.
and also getting like excited about doing the subjects, like,
Yeah.
oh, I can do this, you know. So it's really exciting when there's moments like that.
It's
Yeah.
very empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much for listening to our little interview here.
Yes.
And yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, definitely.